Evaluation of the selected clones for extreme resistance to the viruses PVY and PVX. The evaluation of the selected clones for extreme resistance to potato virus X and Y begins with the planting of 12 virus-free tubers of each clone in pots of 6 and 8 inches. The 5 tubers intended for the extreme resistance tests to virus Y will be planted in a seedbed separate from another group of 5 tubers intended for tests for extreme resistance to the potato virus X. The 2 remaining tubers will be placed in a third bed as controls. 20 days after sowing the tubers, the plants will reach adequate size to be inoculated. For the tests for extreme resistance to potato virus Y, 2 of the 5 plants will be assigned to mechanical inoculation and 3 to grafted inoculation, due to the fact that there is a smaller incident of potato virus Y transmission using mechanical inoculation. The tests for extreme resistance to potato virus X will use 3 plants assigned to mechanical inoculation and 2 for grafted inoculation. A suspension is prepared for the inoculum of each of the viruses. To achieve this, independently extract infected leaves from Nicotiana occidentalis and Nicotiana glutinosa, and weigh the sufficient quantity of leaves from each species to reach a suspension of 5% weight volume. They are macerated in cold water and then passed through a gauze, adding water until the desired volume is achieved. A suspension of 300 milliliters will suffice for 250 to 300 plants. The plants intended for inoculation are sprayed beforehand with silicon carbide, carborundum. They are inoculated by spreading the viral solution with a gauze on 2 to 3 leaflets of each plant. Follow the same procedure for the 3 plants to be inoculated with potato virus X. For inoculation by grafting, the first step is to prune the lateral leaves of the plants intended for grafting, and then make a longitudinal cut starting 1 centimeter above any one of the nodes. Immediately after, cut the scion from one of the infected Nicotiana occidentalis plants and prepare by cutting beveled edges so that it fits in the cut of the stem intended for inoculation. Finally, place a piece of saran wrap to support the scion against the plant. Here we show our 3 potato plants inoculated by grafting with the potato virus Y. The procedure for inoculation of potato virus X by grafting is similar. The only difference is that the scion will come from the infected potato plants of a susceptible variety. 20 to 25 days after inoculation, or depending on the development of the symptoms of the susceptible control group, an evaluation is conducted. The plants of the clones that are susceptible to potato virus Y will develop symptoms of mosaic that can be seen as areas of light green tones combined with the natural green tone of the leaf of the clone. Here we show another example that clearly differentiates itself from a healthy leaf in which the green is totally uniform. We can also observe symptoms of necrosis on the leaves and the petioles. In a similar fashion, the leaves of the clones susceptible to the potato virus X will develop symptoms of mosaic, easily differentiated from the uniform tone of the healthy plant, or they will develop the typical symptom of apical necrosis. The clones, showing all 5 plants healthy, are considered to have extreme resistance or to be asymptomatic, that is, plants that have been infected yet have not developed visible symptoms. For this reason, a sample of leaflets of all 5 plants of the clones must be taken and undergo a serological test of ELISA in the lab. Another alternative is to form a compound sample of leaflets in the 5 plants with intent to carry out a retroinoculation of the healthy plants of Nicotiana. Next, macerate the sample by adding a spurt of cold water. Spray the Nicotiana plants with silicon carbide and inoculate 3 healthy plants of either Nicotiana occidentalis if trying to detect the virus Y, or Nicotiana glutinosa if trying to detect the virus X. If during the 7 to 15 days after the retroinoculation, the 3 plants of either Nicotiana occidentalis or the 3 plants of Nicotiana glutinosa, whichever be the case, do not develop visible symptoms, it can be inferred that the clone demonstrates extreme resistance. On the other hand, if at least one of the 3 Nicotiana plants develops visible symptoms, whether it be mosaics and rugosity in the case of the Nicotiana occidentalis plants, or chlorotic spots in the case of Nicotiana glutinosa, it can be inferred that the clone lacks extreme resistance to potato virus Y or X respectively.